Humans weren't the smartest, but we were the craziest. The galaxy had strength. The galaxy had brilliance. The galaxy had logic. But when the swarm came, none of that mattered. Humanity wasn't the smartest. We weren't the strongest. But we were the craziest, and that made all the difference. This is the story of humanity. The galaxy had no shortage of brilliant minds. The Veylan calculated probabilities in quadrillions. The Caith built machines that could rewrite molecules. The HFY mapped stars before humanity even left its cradle. By comparison, humans were late arrivals. Not the smartest. Not the strongest. Not the oldest. But when the wars came, the galaxy discovered what we really were. Not the smartest, just the craziest. The galactic concord met on Oriner Prime, a glittering hall of polished crystal and starlight. Representatives of 30 species gathered, whispering as maps of the ongoing war flickered above the table. The threat was clear, the Veylan Swarm. Endless, tireless, devouring. An empire of drones that never stopped advancing. The counselors argued endlessly. Calculations. Logistics. Predictions. The probability of victory is 0.06%, said the Veylan Archmind. Surrender is the only logical course. Their fleets outnumber ours 20-1, added the Caith, their translucent tendrils shivering. We cannot win. And then a human leaned back in his chair and laughed. Commander Aaron Vance. Rough uniform. A scar across his jaw. The kind of grin you'd expect in a bar fight, not a galactic council. You're all right, he said cheerfully. We can't win. Gasps rippled through the chamber. But that's the fun part. The council thought he was joking. Until he laid it out. See, you're all thinking like rational beings. Numbers. Ratios. Predictions. But we humans, we don't stop when the odds are bad. We stop when we're dead. And sometimes, not even then. He tapped the holomap. Enemy fleets stretched like a tide across systems. Here's the plan. We don't fight fair. We don't fight smart. We fight crazy. Hit and run. Suicide charges. Fake surrenders. We'll crash ships into their carriers, overload reactors, and drop asteroids on their supply lines. Every time they adapt, we'll do something dumber. Dumber, hissed the Caith delegate. Yeah, Vance grinned. So dumb they'll never see it coming. The galaxy watched in disbelief as the humans launched their first operation. 10 outdated corvettes jumped straight into a Veylan staging ground. Outnumbered 50-1. The swarm expected surrender. Instead, the corvettes went silent, drifting. The swarm closed in. And that's when the corvettes detonated, chain-reacting with hidden antimatter mines they had dragged behind them like bait. Half the swarm fleet went up in fire. The Concorde gasped in horror. The humans cheered. They're insane, muttered the HFY ambassador. Insane? Vance grinned. Damn right we are. The Veylan adapted, of course. Next time, their fleets advanced cautiously. No more rushing into traps. So the humans tried something worse. A single frigate, the Iron Will, jumped behind enemy lines, broadcasting on every frequency. Hey bugs. We're here. Come get us. Hundreds of ships broke off to pursue. The Iron Will fled at impossible speeds, diving through asteroid fields, weaving between suns, even slingshotting around a black hole. The pursuit lasted weeks. And when the Veylan finally caught them, they realized too late that the frigate had lured them across half the galaxy, away from their reinforcements. The Iron Will didn't survive. But the swarm fleet was so far from supply lines it starved in the dark. After weeks of chaos, the council summoned Vance again. Princess Ilyara of the HFY leaned across the table, her luminous eyes sharp with both anger and awe. "Why?" she demanded. "Why throw away your lives so carelessly? No logic. No sense. Just madness." Vance smirked. "Because that's what we are. We don't fight like you do. We don't play by your rules. You call it madness. We call it Tuesday." The princess stared. "You're not the smartest. Nope. You're not the strongest. Not even close. Then why do this?" Vance's grin faded, replaced by something harder. "Because somebody has to. And if nobody else is crazy enough, it'll be us." The war dragged on. The swarm adapted. Every time the humans did something reckless, the enemy grew wiser. Until the last stand. The Veylan gathered their grand fleet, a tide of steel and fire sweeping toward the Concord capital. The Concord was prepared to surrender. The humans didn't. Instead, they gathered every ship they had left, civilian freighters, broken hulls, even orbital stations rigged with engines, and charged straight into the swarm. It wasn't a battle. It was chaos. Ships ramming. Reactors detonating. Marines boarding enemy carriers with nothing but knives and bombs strapped to their chests. No sane species would have done it. No logical mind could have conceived it. And somehow, impossibly, it worked. The swarm was shattered. Not defeated completely, but broken, bleeding, retreating. The Concord was saved. When the council met again, the galaxy looked at humanity differently. Not the smartest. Not as the strongest. But as the species is insane enough to win. "You are chaos given form," whispered Princess Ilyara. "No strategy. No reason. Just madness." Vance lit a cigar and grinned through the smoke. "Yeah. But it keeps us alive." The galaxy had no shortage of brilliant minds. No shortage of strength. But when the war ended, the survivors told the story of the humans. Not the smartest. Not the strongest. Just the craziest. And sometimes, crazy is exactly what you need.